Hello, this is Greg Wagner with the Lesson 5 from my Introduction to Java Programming. Today we'll go over arrays. And so basically, today's class is basically going to go over just kind of ins and outs of arrays. So first I just kind of want to describe how they're stored in memory and kind of how you access them and stuff like that, kind of some funky things about arrays. And then basically just show you how to initialize them. There's basically two ways to do it, and then how to access data from them. So basically all an array is basically a continuous block. So if you notice, if you look at the variable value down here, you have basically one block. An array value is basically a group of memory that's grouped together in multiple blocks. And so for an array, you only have one type, and so you can determine how big that array is going to be and then assign values to this. And this is for basically if you have a bunch of data like from a database or from a file, use arrays to store them and then quickly access them. And then notice for arrays, you count the first spot, the initial spot in it is the 0th spot. And for C-based languages like Java, C syntax language like Java, C++, C, they start with 0. And the reason why this is the array variable name points to the front of the block of memory. And so think the number is not the position, but the offset. So since it points to the front, the 0th offset is the very front. The first position is the one right after, is the offset by one position from the front. And some languages start with 1, but most programming languages start with 0, basically because it's describing I have a 0th offset. And then basically there are two ways to initialize an array. You can initialize it, so before I actually get into this, you see the brackets. The brackets are there, shows it's an operator in Java that shows, okay, within this brackets, I put these here, I am saying this is an array, and then these brackets, when you actually try to access the data, like down here, tell you how much, what offset you're going to do. So you can declare and define in the same line like you do in this first bullet, where you do int brackets, your name, and then within braces you put all the values that are comma separated. So you could have, in this case, have 5. So this is telling the operating system, I want to allocate 5 integer spots and then I'm going to put these values just in them. And another way to do it is you can initialize it, then you use new. New tells the operating system, hey, I want some new memory. And then it says int, and then with the braces, it's going to use that int size, and then basically put 5 memory locations together in memory. And then so if you want to assign the values initially, you can do it like I showed before. And what this will do is basically once you run this line, all the values go into memory. And it's simple as that. And you can go in and change them later, but it tells you, okay, I'm going to assign these values in here, and also it predicts what the size is going to be. For the second case I've shown, I'm going to allocate 5 spots. I'm using this new int to do 5 spots. And then on the left-hand side, when I do int 0, notice how the value gets in there. So I have my array, and then I have the brackets, and then I have the offset, or basically the array location. And so I'm putting this one in my net array 1, value 20. Notice how 20 appears in this space. And then if you use the brackets, the brackets on the right-hand side of the assignment equation, it'll place the values in here. So notice here I'm using spot 1. So when this line runs, the value 20 will go into my initialization. So let me show you how these would work in a demo. So for today's demo, we're going to make our arrays case. So go to the source, make a new package. So we'll call this package arrays lesson 5. And then we will make a new class. We'll call this one arrays, and put a main in there. Finish. And then we'll just start generating some code. So kind of to combine this demo is going to combine both the methods and the loops things together. So first off, to kind of give the example from the first kind of way of assigning a value, so we're going to make an integer, and we'll call this my int array equals, and then we'll just do the same thing we did 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. And then we're going to make a method. And one thing I like about Eclipse is if you declare, if you try to do a method and it doesn't see it, it actually will recommend that you create one. So what I'll do is I'll just call this print array, and I'll pass in there my int array. And then notice how I get the red underline saying it's not good. So if I highlight it with my icon, it says create a method. So what this is going to do is it's going to create a private method. So something can be accessed outside. And then I'm just going to make a basic loop. And so for this loop, I'll do just kind of the standard loop. With arrays, you can tell how long it is with using the dot length. So I'll show you how that works. So I'll do I equals 0 like I did with the previous ones. And then I'll do I is less than my int array dot length semicolon I plus plus. And notice how I have a less than symbol here. That's because since we start counting at 0 for arrays, the length will actually be 5, but the last number will be 4. And so I'll do system dot out dot print line. I'll say I'll do array bracket plus II plus right bracket equals plus my int array II. And then if I run this, so first off I need to make it. I'll make a new one. Do a new run. New Java application. This is, call this arrays. And I will do this one as, what is this? Arrays less than 5 dot arrays. Apply finish. Let's see if this runs. And it runs. And so I created a two methods, one that prints out this array. So this is the predefined assigned one. And the second one I'll do is I'll make another one. I'll call this int my int array equals new int 5. So it's going to make an array of length 5. Since one already has one, I'll call this new. And then for here, we have to assign the values. So just to kind of differentiate them, even though I know the example I did 10, 20 for this one as well, I'm going to do int my int array new 0. I'll make that 11. And I'll just copy and paste these. And actually, I don't need the int here, since the space is already allocated. And I will do 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll do this one as 11, 21, 31, 41, and 51. And then finally I'll print out this one. I'll do print array my int array new. And this should print out all the values. So I'll run this one again. Notice I had 11, 12, 13, and I have 4 there twice. And so let me show you something. So I have 4 here twice. And so notice here how it does 11, 21, 31, and then it skips to 51. There's a 0 here. The reason why that is I never assigned value 3, and then for new arrays, it basically puts a 0 in for everything that is initialized. So when I change this to 3, you'll see the values return 11, 20, 30, 40, so on and so forth. So that's the end of this video for arrays. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments or email me. And please subscribe to this channel. And you can also, if you want to support this, please use the link to the Amazon store down below. And for the next class, we'll be just basically doing more complicated types of arrays.